All right, you certainly see lots of them on the road, but tonight some owners of the popular E-Class Mercedes say that their cars really just are too dangerous to drive.
They say there is a strong smell of gas, and they tell consumer reporter Steve Noviello the luxury car maker won't pay to fix it.
The E-Class cars in question were all made between 2002 and 2008, each equipped with the same fuel tank and fuel sender that drivers across the country say are failing and leaking. It all adds up to a driving danger and a $500 million repair bill.
This is a 2004 Mercedes-Benz E55 AMG.
Since the moment he laid eyes on it, Tony Albanese knew he had to have this E-Class Mercedes.
Quality and performance.
But now?
Right now it stinks.
Get close and you'll smell it too.
And the windows are open, the roof is open, and it still smells like gas.
Yeah.
Gas that's pouring out of the tank and into the car's cabin.
This just lifts up and you can see, this has fuel in it now.
So much that it's sloshing around and soaking the underside of the back seat where Tony's kids used to sit.
I don't take my kids in the car anymore. I only use it, when I have to.
Tony bought the car from Park Place Mercedes in Dallas back in 2008. At the time, it was certified by Mercedes for resale.
I'll replace anything that needs to be replaced, recondition the vehicle.
During that initial inspection, a red flag, a recall notice from Mercedes specifically for the E55 that Tony was buying. It addressed the assembly of the fuel sender.
They opened it up and saw that it was also leaking, so they went ahead and replaced it in 2008.
Now, less than 5 years later, the fuel sender which was replaced is leaking again, and the one which wasn't is flooded with fuel. Take a look for yourself. You can siphon it into a cup.
It's incredibly dangerous.
Tony went to the dealership. They verified the fuel sender was leaking and needed to be replaced. But because the initial recall wasn't for the complete part,
to replace both of these is about $2,200.
It wasn't covered.
This isn't the pump failing. This is the materials that the piece is made out of failing and spilling gasoline in the back of my car. This isn't a wear item.
They're E320 owners, they're E500 owners.
Attorney Neil Goro has never heard Tony's story, but has heard many others just like it. He represents plaintiffs in multiple states:
Texas, Florida, Georgia, Virginia, Illinois, and California.
All part of a class action lawsuit against Mercedes.
All right, what do we have here?
It describes a defective fuel sender like this one and fuel tank which are leaking fuel. The lead plaintiff is from Dallas.
People are reporting that they're smelling strong fumes of gasoline in their vehicles, and they're also reporting seeing fuel leaking out of the gasoline tanks onto the ground below their vehicle.
This is video of fuel leaking out of a 2007 E63 taken by one of the members of the class action lawsuit.
Mercedes is aware. Not only did they have complaints, but NHTSA's made them aware on more than one occasion.
The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, or NHTSA, has logged more than 530 complaints from E-Class owners. The lawsuit claims every E-Class in question is designed with the same faulty fuel sender.
The fuel tank has to be redesigned and re-engineered in order to properly hold the fuel.
In response to the class action, Mercedes says there is no class, since not every vehicle is having this problem. And as for the ones which are, in this written statement, Mercedes suggests taking a look at the drivers, not the manufacturer.
Mercedes-Benz tells NHTSA it's not our fault, it's the fault of the owners. They're overfilling their fuel tanks.
How do you overfill a gas tank? You either fill it or you don't fill it, right?
This unit actually sits below the bench seat in the back, right?
That's correct.
This is a fuel tank from one of the E-Class vehicles in question. By design, one side of it sits higher than the other. When full, fuel rests against the sender and can leak.
If you don't fill up the tank all the way, the fuel won't spill out.
Just last month, NHTSA expanded their investigation to include other E-Class models. More than 250,000 cars in question are on the road right now. It would cost more than $500 million to replace all of those parts. According to the lawsuit, the trouble is
the parts are being replaced with new defective parts.
Goro says Mercedes needs to re-engineer a new part. Meanwhile, Mercedes is cooperating, although it's still up to owners to foot that $2,000 repair bill. The company notes they have never had any reports of fire or injury from any E-Class owner. But they've also never been for a ride.
I dreamed about having one of these since it came out.
With Tony Albanese in his dream car, who says just one trip on a full tank,
And it smells horrible and gives you a headache,
is enough to make anyone sick.
I think they should take responsibility for their product.
We reached out to Park Place Mercedes, the local dealership where Tony bought his car. They did not take us up on an offer to sit down for an interview. You can learn more about that class action lawsuit right now, myfoxdfw.com. I'm Steve Noviello. That's my 2 cents. Spend it wisely.